they were also going back and forth over the MVP debate. Now, Kendrick Perkins came out and said that Jokic pads his stats. But if you were to look at it from that lens, the Denver Nuggets this season have not yet lost a game in which Jokic gets a triple-double. So if Jokic is padding his stats, well, there's nothing wrong with it because the team is undefeated when he pads his stats, so to speak. So I think it's a 28-game winning streak going back to last season when Jokic has a triple-double. So it's pretty clear that he's not padding his stats because they've not lost a game because of him chasing stats. But then it escalated just a little bit.
Okay.
It escalated just a little bit because Kendrick Perkins put out a video on his Twitter, which then got deleted, in which he put something out there that allowed everyone else to make up their minds, and he said he just wanted to let him marinate. BJ, have you seen the video that Kendrick Perkins posted?
Yeah, you just sent it to me, so I saw the video.
You're ruining the magic of the show.
You made sure, without your assistance or help, I would have not seen the video. But because of the great friendship that you and I have, you keep me informed on everything that's going on. So yeah, I did see it.
BJ doesn't stay online. He's not on social media, so he ain't going to see it. He ain't going to see Perk and his deleted videos. So what Kendrick Perkins said is that since the year 2000, there's only been 2 MVPs that have not been top 10 in scoring and yet won the award. And those winners were Steve Nash and Dirk Nowitzki. And now potentially this season, Nikola Jokic. And then he said, what do those 3 guys all have in common? Now, I'll let you guys figure out the answer to Nikola Jokic, Steve Nash, and Dirk Nowitzki sharing something in common. But BJ, I wanted to get your thoughts on what Big Perk had to say.
These are things, Mo, that I'm really a little bit too, I'm too old to comment about, right? And whatever's going on between, is it JJ Redick? Is that who is going on?
Yeah,
with
JJ and Perk.
And Perk. I'm sure they'll figure it out, It's the one thing for me in this business is to respect the game, respect people's views. And then when people have things they have to say, then you say what you have to say. Now, I really don't get into that type of stuff, right? And as you know, Mo, and to all of our listeners here, I like to keep it on the court. And what I do know is, I personally know Steve Nash. I personally know Dirk Nowitzki. And, I've had a couple times, just in passing to meet Jokic, right? I'm not pretending to know him well as the other 2. And so I'm not here to go down that path, right? What I am here to do is to talk about, the game and what the game means to us. And listen, I don't know where he's going with it. I get it. I hear it.
I do want to say this because of his comments and what he said, that it wasn't the year 2000. I made a mistake. He said since the year 1990 onwards.
Yes.
And it's interesting. And it's just another example of how people can manipulate numbers to validate their point. Because if you go back and look at 1989, for example, Magic Johnson won MVP, if I'm not mistaken. But he was not top 10 in scoring, yet he still won the award. So it's interesting that Perk chose from 1990 onwards, when the year before, Magic won the MVP without being top 10 in scoring. So I'll just put that out there. But continue. What do you think about this notion that Jokic has his stats?
Here's the thing. I think you and I had a discussion just a couple days ago. And here's the thing that I think, if we're going to have a discussion, right? I'm not going to get caught into the details of what I said. I'm not going to get caught into the content. I wanted to have a discussion about the context. Like you just made a point here about Magic Johnson. And then for whatever reason now, when people have these discussions, and I've said this many times and I'll say it again, at one point there were 4 main chairs at the table. meaning four main tables where those voices matter, right? You have the governors, owners, their voice matters. You have the executives, general managers, team presidents, that voice mattered. You had the head coach, his voice matters. And then you had the players. There were four voices. Okay. The governors, the
Well, on
executives.
voting for the MVP.
No, the voices as sitting at the table that mattered the most in the game in professional sports, professional basketball. Okay. Those voices matter. The governor's voice and opinion should matter for obvious reasons. The executives who are making the decisions, how to build a team, who to draft, who to trade, so forth and so on. Free agency, that matters. You have the coaches, working with the players, figuring out what's needed, what plays we're going to run, what style of play, that matters. And of course, you have the players who are actually out there playing and doing the work, 82 games, like so many people. Now, at some point here at this table, there was another chair that was brought to the table, and it was called analytics. The analytics came to the table. Okay. The analytics, which, in my opinion, they should have a seat at the table because the numbers do matter. However,
as a historian of the game, BJ, what year or what time frame do you think that the analytics movement really came to prominence?
Okay, the analytics were sitting at the table since 1946. Who didn't look at the stats? Right? If the team was out rebounding us, then we would say, hey, they're beating us on the boards by 10. The analytics were always here. It was just you didn't want to say that the analytics was more important than
the eye test or people watching the game.
Roster construction. Like there's many ways to look at the game, right? There used to be a time, Mo, believe it or not, before you were born, where actually teams would play different styles of basketball. Everyone just didn't come down and shoot a three. Believe it or not, Mo, it was believe it or not, some teams used to shoot threes, and then some teams used to play a slow down pace of game. Some teams used to play a fast pace of game. Believe it or not, Mo, there used to be variety in the game. Now every team plays the same exact way. Now it is what it is. Now the analytics now suddenly became the most important voice, and you can argue that it's become the main voice. So when I listen to your argument here with Magic Johnson,
it's not an argument. It's just a statement of fact.
When you listen to the point that you made in your which is the fact. So the content is, well, Magic Johnson didn't do it. That's the content. But let's put it in its broader context. Magic Johnson's influence and how he played the game far surpasses any number that you can put on how many points he averaged, right? Because in the end, everyone who participates in basketball made a conscious or unconscious decision, depending on how you want to describe it or how you want to look at it, to do the following. We decided to play a team sport. So once you decide to play a team sport, you have to make a decision. What's your reasoning for playing a team sport? And if your answer isn't to win, which Magic Johnson is one of the greatest winners to play, that's a criteria for me of why you should be an MVP. Whoever wins the game, Bill Russell, for instance, we can't argue, well, he didn't average 30 points a game or 25 points. No, the criteria is very simple to me of why I love this game. The reason I love this game, Mo, is because in my 55 years of existence, I haven't found a greater gift than to be a part of a team with a group of people for one common goal. It's real simple for me. Whether a guy gets a triple-double, whether a guy averages 35 points, whether this guy gets 10 blocks, okay, that's great. All those things matter. In the end, the game is real simple to me. The game is so simple to me, Mo, I don't even see all the other stuff. Did you win or did you lose? Did you do your best or not?
Yeah. Well,
and I just want to say that because, Mo, now we've gotten very complicated Well, is this guy padding his stats? Is this guy averaging enough points? Since 1990, this guy said this. Well, this guy averaged more points here. Okay, that's fine. The numbers speak for themselves. However, I've made a conscious decision, and like I told you the other day, the MVP is really simple. Who's the most impactful player to winning?